Hello, I'm Ipsita and I'm an undergraduate student at KAIST. I'm very grateful to Professor Jong Chilier and advisor Shajat Khan for giving me the opportunity to do this project in the Bioimaging and Signal Processing Lab at KAIST. I'm going to be presenting on the topic of delay and sum beamformers or DAS beamformers, which is one of the most basic but prevalent beamformer used in the medical industry today. Ultrasound imaging or sonography is a medical procedure that uses high-frequency sound waves to produce dynamic visual images of organs, tissues, or blood flow inside the body. The sound waves are transmitted to the area to be examined, and the returning echoes are captured to visualize an ultrasound image of that area. Ultrasound has several advantages that make it ideal in a lot of situations, like studying moving structures in real time. It can be used to examine many parts of the body, such as the abdomen, heart, and blood vessels, and female reproductive system, including during pregnancy. Because of its non-ionizing nature, it is a good choice for imaging when radiation sensitivity is a concern, such as in pediatrics. For the purpose of this project, we have used an E-Cube 12-hour Alpinian system. The dataset we have used is obtained from a tissue-mimicking phantom and has the following dimensions: 192 channels, 2,304 depth samples, and 192 scan lines. We will compare the delay and sum or DAS and the delay and sum plus Maillard-Fink coherence factor or DAS plus CF imaging methods on the same phantom. Because of the continuous nature and time reversal property of sound waves, we can use multiple receivers instead of using only one receiver to capture enough energy so we can get a high quality image after image processing. Even though we have only 192 channels in the transducer, we only use 64 channels to create one line in the image. The packets of channels used for creating the image among the transducer keep on shifting as the image is visualized line by line. Because the individual signals received from the channels are not in phase, there is a time delay between these signals, and thus we need to apply a time of flight correction. After the time of flight correction is applied to all the channels, we combine the measurements at a particular scan line to get one line of the image. We subsequently shift the packet of channels that receive the signal for the next scan line and then additively combine all the values after applying the individual time delays. We continue this procedure until each scan line in the image has been constructed. This is known as a delay and sum beamformer. After that, an analytic signal is created for the beamformer output by using the Hilbert transform, and the dynamic range of the data is adjusted by using a logarithmic compression algorithm. For the Maillard-Fink coherence factor imaging method, the coherence factor is defined as the ratio between the coherent and incoherent energy across the aperture. Applying the coherence factor to the delay and sum increases the resolution of the image, as we will see later in the results. At 30 decibels, we can see that we get images of poor quality and the CIS are invisible for both DAS and DAS plus CF beamformers. Even the contrast recovery values are very low, indicating that in this case, contrast recovery is a good measure of image quality. At 60 decibel, all the CIS are visible for both beamformers, but for DAS plus CF, even small irregularities in the picture can be detected very well, meaning that the image quality is sharp. As the dynamic range increases after 60 decibels, we can see that the images are much more washed out and subtle irregularities in the picture begin to vanish. DAS plus CF beamformer gives much better contrast recovery values for higher dynamic ranges, but the image quality is poor, as the pictures are a bit more washed out and the subtle irregularities which were distinct at 60 decibels are now barely visible. This shows that even though the contrast recovery values may be higher, there isn't much difference in image quality at high dynamic ranges. Also, The DAS plus CF imaging method has an increased computational cost than the DAS imaging method because of the coherence factor. In conclusion, we can see that the image quality of the 90 decibels DAS plus coherence factor is quite close to that of the 60 decibels DAS. Initially, the contrast recovery value for the DAS plus coherence factor imaging method are quite low, but they increase rapidly as the dynamic range increases. So we can infer that contrast recovery is not useful in isolation, but it only makes sense to talk of contrast recovery with regards to the dynamic range of an imaging modality. In the course of this project, I learned the basics of ultrasound imaging and the coding behind the images that I saw pop up on the screen in Python. I look forward to delving deeper into the pre-processing stages of ultrasound imaging in the future. I thank Professor for giving me this wonderful opportunity again. Thank you.